Right now, somewhere in your house, a light switch is within reach. You don't think about it. You just flip it, but turn it off for a moment. Sit in the dark. Notice what happens in your chest. That tightness isn't random. It isn't weakness either. It's 2 million years old. Tonight, when the sun goes down, your body will do something it has done every single night of your life. Your pupils will widen. Your heart rate will climb just slightly. Your ears will sharpen, picking up sounds you'd never notice in daylight. You'll tell yourself you're just being silly. But the real answer is far stranger than silly. The real answer is written into your nervous system by ancestors who never once got to relax after dark. Think about what darkness actually meant for most of human history. No streetlights, no phones, no locks on doors. Just you, a small fire if you were lucky, in a world full of eyes you couldn't see. For roughly 2 million years, from the earliest members of the genus Homo onward, night was the most dangerous stretch of every single day. And your brain remembers, even if you don't. Here's the strange part. You weren't taught to fear the dark. Nobody sat you down as a toddler and explained predator behavior. And yet almost every child on Earth, across every culture, goes through a phase of being afraid of the dark. Why would that be universal? Why would a fear show up before anyone teaches it? The evolutionary psychiatrist Randolph Nesse has spent decades studying exactly this kind of question. His work on what's called evolutionary mismatch argues that many of our so-called irrational fears aren't malfunctions at all. They're old solutions running in a new environment. Your fear of the dark isn't a glitch, it's a tool built for a world that mostly doesn't exist anymore, but installed so deep in your biology that it still fires anyway. Picture your ancestors 2 million years ago. Small groups, out in the open, no walls, no doors. When the sun dropped, their vision dropped with it. Human eyes are terrible in low light compared to almost every predator that hunted us. Lions see well at night, leopards see well at night, hyenas see well at night. Early humans did not. So the moment the light disappeared, the balance of power flipped completely. You went from being a capable daytime forager to something closer to prey. That's not a comfortable thought, but it explains a lot. It explains why so many predator attacks on early hominins likely happened at night or at dusk, based on fossil evidence and comparative studies of primate predation patterns. It explains why nearly every ancient human settlement we've found used fire as a central feature, not just for cooking, but for the ring of light it created, because inside that ring you could see danger coming. Outside it, you couldn't. The anthropologist Richard Wrangham, known for his research into how the control of fire shaped human evolution, has argued that fire didn't just change our diet, it changed our nights. For the first time, a group of small, physically vulnerable primates could push back the darkness and reclaim a few hours of safety after sunset. Fire meant you could see the eyes in the brush before they got close enough to matter. Fire meant sleep didn't have to mean total exposure. That single invention may be one of the reasons you're even here to be scared of the dark tonight. Groups that use fire well outlived groups that didn't. But here's the twist. Fire didn't erase the fear. It just gave your ancestors a way to manage it. The fear itself stayed, tucked into the same ancient parts of the brain that also manage things like your startle reflex and your fight or flight response. Structures like the amygdala, sitting deep in your temporal lobe, don't know that streetlights exist. They don't know that your bedroom door has a lock. They're still running software built for the savannah, the caves, the open grassland at dusk. That's why a completely empty, completely safe room can still feel different with the lights off. Your eyes are sending the same signal your ancestors' eyes sent when the sun disappeared behind the hills. Reduced visual information, increased uncertainty, and uncertainty, to a brain shaped by millions of years of real predators, means threat. There's another piece to this, and it comes from a place you wouldn't expect: sleep science. The sleep researcher Matthew Walker, whose work has shaped much of what we understand about human sleep architecture, points out that human sleep patterns evolved under conditions where staying partially alert at night had survival value. Some researchers believe this is part of why humans, unlike many animals, don't fall into one long uninterrupted block of unconsciousness. Historically, in societies without electric light, people often woke briefly in the middle of the night before returning to sleep. Some anthropologists have proposed this pattern gave communities